Have you ever considered something like mango puree? Seems pretty simple, right? But have you ever stopped to think about its global footprint? It sounds niche, maybe, but today we're doing a deep dive into what turns out to be a surprisingly big and, well, dynamic global mango puree market. And all our insights today, they're coming straight from the data crunched by cognitive market research. So our mission here is to, unpack these numbers, look at the regional differences, which are quite interesting, and really understand where this industry is heading. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And what really jumps out is not just the current size, but the steady growth projected for this market. So back in 2021, the global market was valued at, let's see, $1.35 billion. That's billion with a B.
Wow.
And it's projected to climb up to nearly $1.7 billion by 2025. And looking further out, by 2033, it's expected to hit over $2.6 billion.
Okay, so that's quite a jump.
It really is. It translates to a compound annual growth rate, a CGR of about 5.7%. Pretty healthy.
That is significant growth, especially for, well, what many people probably just think of as an ingredient. It really shows how these specialized products can be big business globally.
Right.
But what's behind that? I mean, beyond the numbers, what does that suggest about, demand or how mango puree is being used?
Well, it suggests a couple of key things, I think. First, you're seeing this increasing consumer desire for natural fruit ingredients. That's in everything, like beverages, baby food, desserts, dairy products, you name it. And second, it reflects the expansion of the global food processing industry itself. They need reliable, high-quality ingredients like puree. It helps extend the shelf life and makes a seasonal fruit like mango usable year-round.
Right, that makes sense. So we've got the big picture, healthy growth. Now, let's zoom in a bit. Where is this growth actually happening? Because the stories from different regions can be quite different, can't they? Let's take a tour, a regional deep dive.
Absolutely. And leading the pack, by quite a margin actually, is Asia Pacific. In 2021, it was already valued at over $500 million, $514.6 million. And the projection, it's set to more than double, reaching nearly $1.1 billion by 2033.
Doubling, wow.
Yeah, and that region boasts a really strong CAGR, over 6.4%, so it's clearly the powerhouse.
Okay, Asia Pacific is number one.
Right.
But within that huge region, who are the main players? I see Japan leads in terms of sheer value right now, over $200 million and growing steadily. But if we're talking momentum, pure growth rate, India really jumps out. Highest KGR there at almost 7.3%. What's driving that? I mean, India's growth seems particularly fast, even if its total market size is smaller than Japan's currently.
Yeah, India's situation is kind of interesting. It's likely a mix of two things. On one side, you have this massive domestic market. Incomes are rising, demand for processed foods and drinks is growing, and mango is, hugely popular there traditionally. But then on the other side, India is also one of the world's biggest mango producers, so they have a massive local supply ready for processing into puree. It makes them strong in both consumption and production.
Got it. So a dual engine there.
Exactly. And China's a big player too, let's not forget. Over $113 million in 2021 and growing fast as well, almost 6.75% CAGR. Plus, you've got others showing good solid growth like South Korea, Australia, Singapore, all generally clocking in above 6% CAGR.
Okay, so Asia Pacific is clearly key. Where do we go next?
Yeah.
Europe.
Yes, Europe. It's the second largest market overall. In 2021, its value is close to $300 million, and projections take it over $560 million by 2033. That's a solid CGR, too, over 5.5%.
Right, and Europe has some interesting internal dynamics too, doesn't it? The UK leads in value nearly $58 million back in 2021, with a strong growth rate over 6%. Germany's doing well too. But here's something that caught my eye, the rest of Europe category. It actually shows the highest CAGR in the whole region, almost 7.4%. What does that signal? Are we seeing the market spread out beyond the traditional big economies?
I think that's exactly what it suggests. While the UK and Germany are major consumers, that really high growth in the rest of Europe group points to emerging markets, or maybe smaller countries, rapidly adopting mango puree. It could be for niche food products, maybe new product innovation, or just shifting consumer tastes spreading across the continent. It suggests, a deeper integration into the European food system overall. Meanwhile, countries like France, Italy, Spain, they show steady growth, around 5%. Russia's a decent-sized market, but its growth is a bit more modest comparatively.
Okay, interesting. Let's hop across the Atlantic then. North America. The region put up almost $217 million in 2021, and it's heading towards over $405 million by 2033. The CAGR there is just under 5.4%.
Yeah, and within North America, there's a bit of a contrast. You've got the U.S., obviously the dominant market, showing steady growth, a bit over 5% CAGR. But Canada, interestingly, shows stronger growth percentage-wise, almost 6.4% CAGR.
Huh. Why the difference, do you think?
Well, it could be a few things, maybe different dietary trends taking hold faster in Canada, or perhaps a preference for, exotic fruits evolving differently.
Mm.
Or it could even be linked to the food processing sector expanding more rapidly there, incorporating more mango.
Okay.
And Mexico is part of the picture too, growing steadily at about 4.5%.
Right. Now let's head south. South America.
South America. Its 2021 value is nearly $149 million. It's projected to reach over $278 million by 2033, with a CAGR around 5.3%.
And Brazil is the clear leader there, right? Largest market.
Yep. Brazil's leading the way. Given its size, its vibrant food culture, and its own strong agriculture, including mangoes, that's not too surprising, it shows steady growth, over 5.5%.
Makes sense.
And Argentina and Colombia are significant too. They both show similar solid growth rates, also around 5.5%. So there's a consistent regional demand. Peru, Chile, others contribute too, with slightly lower KGRs.
Okay, now let's turn to Africa. The numbers look a bit different there. 2021 value was just over $100 million, projected to grow to almost $139 million by 2033. But that CAGR, it's just over 2%. That's noticeably the slowest among the regions we've looked at.
Yeah.
Why the slower pace in Africa comparatively? What might be influencing that?
That's a really important question. The slower growth in Africa compared to, say, Asia or Europe likely points to a few factors. Things like developing infrastructure for processing, for distribution. Also, lower average consumer purchasing power for certain types of processed foods might play a role. And maybe in some areas, a greater reliance still on consuming fresh fruit rather than processed forms like puree.
Right, infrastructure and economics.
Exactly. Nigeria is definitely the dominant market within Africa, but its growth rate, much like the rest of the continent, is relatively modest. It suggests there's, significant potential there, but those underlying challenges need to be addressed.
Okay. One region left, the Middle East.
Right, the Middle East. And here, the story shifts back to strong growth, a CAGR of over 6.4%. The market value was nearly $75 million in 2021, and it's projected to more than double again, hitting over $154 million by 2033.
So strong growth like Asia Pacific, Saudi Arabia is a big contributor there, growing well. But the UAE really stands out, doesn't it? Highest KGR in the region, over 7.1%. Why such rapid growth in the UAE specifically? It's not the largest market there in absolute terms.
No, it's not the largest, but its growth is striking. It likely reflects a combination of factors. The UAE is a major hub for, international trade, tourism, that brings diverse culinary influences and high demand for a wide range of food products. Plus, they have a growing food processing sector themselves, and importantly, a high-income consumer base that's quite open to premium or imported ingredients. So it creates this sort of perfect environment for a product like Mango Puree to see really fast uptake, perhaps in hotels, restaurants, and new consumer products.
Okay, that paints a fascinating picture. So we've toured the world of Mango Puree. If we step back now and look at everything we've discussed, what's the big takeaway? What does this all mean when you put it together?
Well, if we connect all these dots, the main thing is clear. The global mango puree market is definitely on a healthy growth path, no question there. But what's really revealed is this dynamic interplay of different regional forces. You see the strongest growth, the highest rates in Asia Pacific and the Middle East. That's driven by things like population, local production, changing tastes, maybe disposable income.
Right.
Then you contrast that with the slower, though still steady growth in Africa, which points more towards those economic and infrastructural factors we talked about. So this deep dive into just one ingredient, mango puree, it really does illustrate beautifully how global trade and consumer trends are shaped by these complex regional dynamics. It gives you a pretty detailed snapshot of our interconnected food world.
It really is incredible. Just thinking about the scale and all those intricate regional differences, all for Mango Puree. Who knew one ingredient could tell such a complex global story, reflecting shifts in, well, everything from farming to consumer habits?
Exactly. And looking at these specific market insights, it tells us so much about how global trade, consumer preferences, and different economies all mesh together. It's a reminder, really, that even products that seem niche can actually be powerful indicators of much bigger trends.
So it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What does this deep dive really tell us about how interconnected global products are, even simple ones? And what other everyday items out there might be hiding similarly complex, growing global markets just waiting to be explored? Something to think about.